told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome back to the Journey of Life podcast, guys. I'm your host, Tendi, and today we have a guest host, Michelle. Welcome to the podcast.
Woo, hi Tendi, how you doing? So glad to be here.
I'm good. So good to have you here. Thank you so much for coming,
Yeah.
and taking my invitation and accepting it. So yeah.
It's crazy how this started. We're just doing my hair the other day. You were like, okay, we should do a podcast one day, and here we are.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice to see like the changes. But yeah, guys, welcome to the Journey of Life podcast. This is episode 4. I'm really excited to be here with a special lady from Kenya.
Woohoo.
And if you're a young lady or gentleman, looking forward to big things in this life, this is the podcast for you. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Tendaishe Monalissa. Follow the podcast page at JOLpodcast on Instagram. You can follow Michelle on her Instagram
At Michelle_Wamuyu. You'll find it probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll link her Instagram page as well. You could follow her on socials. So yeah, today we always bring you gems, guys, and we're still continuing on the train, the Debrecen Diaries, this lovely place we are in.
Yes.
So we're gonna start there. At the beginning of the episode, we always give you guys some educational and academic information, and then we get into the other details, the finer details of life.
The tea.
Yeah. So what are you studying?
So I study computer science, bachelor's. I'm actually in my final year, final semester. Woohoo!
Congrats!
Hopefully I graduate this June. It's been quite a journey, but we made it. Yeah,
Mama, we made it.
We made it. We did it, Joe. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, maybe before we go into deeper, can you fully introduce yourself, like your name, if you want to tell us your age, where you're from, give us all the details,
let me get to know me.
If you're in the
guys.
streets, if you're not.
Well, we'll see. Hi guys, my name is Michelle Wamuyu. I come from Nairobi, Kenya, born and raised in Kenya, and I came to Debrecen in 2020 during COVID. Crazy times. It was a big transition, coming during such a big pandemic and everything. But I study computer science. I am not in the streets. I'm taken. So in case you're interested, well, sorry to disappoint you early on.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, that's why I am taken, And so far so good. I'm just I'm only, how old am I? I am 22 years old, turning 22.
You are a baby. I think you're so mature for your age. It hits me every time that you're 5 years younger than me.
Oh wow, yeah, I get that crazy. A lot actually.
It's ridiculous. But then again, you're the oldest sibling.
Yeah,
so I think
it affects a lot. Yeah,
yes.
In a good way.
Absolutely.
It made me grow faster than
I think,
you're than my peers.
So mature for your age, and that's
which can also be frustrating when making friends sometimes, because you're the same age as someone, but you see their thinking and you're like, you're
so
such a
different.
Child. Yeah, why are you thinking like this?
I think some of us, we're just we've been here before. How they say, oh, you've been here before.
You've lived this life before.
You've lived this life before. I think sometimes it just happens like that. You just are a little bit mature for your age, and
that's
you
true.
just enjoy a different kind of company. You have a different kind of appreciation for life and for things.
It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah. So my birthday is actually this month.
Oh really?
Yeah, when? May 29th.
May 29th.
May baby.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so we're getting older and wiser, and I'm excited to
Hopefully.
see where life takes me from here onwards. Yeah.
I mean, oh, life is but a journey, hey?
Exactly.
Yes.
Journey of life, guys.
Yes. So why did you choose like a computer science program? What inspired you? Were you always into this? Like, or did your parents choose it for you? Like,
Well, my parents were, they were like supporting me in whatever I wanted to do, yeah, but not everything, yeah, because I never knew that I was going to study computer science. Actually, this was like a last minute choice that I made because I finished high school in November 2019 and uni was going to start in September 2020. So I had like a 9 months kind of hiatus or something. And in this 9 months, I changed my mind a lot of what I wanted to do.
I think that's such a good thing, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, it also made me realize how confused I was. I had no a specific interest or like dream of like this is what I just knew I wanted to like be well settled in life. How to get there, I didn't know yet, because I for a long time, yeah, when I was growing up, I used to be very, how do I say, confrontational. I used to ask questions. I used to question authority a lot, yeah. And a lot of my teachers used to tell me, you can be a good lawyer. So in my head, I was conditioned for like 7 years to think I might do law school, yeah. Fast forward, I reached high school. So much studying and all that. I was a good student, but I was like, I don't want to study for the rest of my life, yeah. So if I do law, I'll just be studying, and this is not the life that I see for myself, because I'm also outgoing as well. So I changed my mind. I was like, I'm not doing law. Then I switched to like, I like watching real estate shows on Netflix and stuff. I like the drama and all that, the lifestyle. And I was like, okay, maybe I might do real estate. I like big fancy houses. Then I was like, I researched into it and I was like, okay, it's not as it seems,
Yeah.
This is on Netflix. This is like not real life, yeah.
And it's glamorized and all these things. Like,
yeah, exactly. So
it's not the average like real
that was my
estate
first reality
person's
check.
life.
Yeah, that was like such a big reality check. So I moved from real estate to urban planning. I even thought of medicine at one point in my life. Then I was like, no, this is too much studying for me. I wouldn't enjoy it. I don't want this for my life. Then my mom told me that, Michelle, you've been doing computer in school, yeah? You do so well. You go for competitions. You come out among the best, you get scholarship offers. It's just that since I wasn't interested in anything computer, I was just good at it, but I wasn't interested. Then she was like, look at it, maybe this might be something for you. So I was like, okay, why not? Searched about it, saw how the future is tech, the present is tech, and I was like, I don't have to, my whole life doesn't have to be studying. Like, yeah, it's a stereotype how they say like programmers don't have a life or anything. But I saw like I can have a life and like at the same time, like have a perfect work-life balance.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, so this is how I ended up here. Last minute
Debrecen.
choice, Debrecen.
So are you like on a scholarship or you're self-funded?
I'm self-funded because when I was applying, there wasn't scholarship for Kenyan students in computer science.
Okay.
Yeah, because at first I wanted to go to Germany because universities are free over there, yeah? But they didn't have a computer science program in English. Yeah, so that was the problem. Then I remembered I have a cousin here, and I was like, okay, I will go where she is. It's also going to make the transition easier
for you.
Yeah, and the fees wasn't like, it was reasonable compared to other European countries. You can't compare it to UK.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, 3 years, fine, I will do it. And here we are 3 years later.
Yeah, and you're almost done. Like, what advice or like academic advice would you give somebody, let's say, who's in high school right now and is considering to come to the University of Debrecen to study computer science? And like, what challenges do you think that they can face and how they can navigate it?
Okay, honestly speaking, yeah, if you're not in Europe yet and you're thinking of coming to study in Europe, Debrecen is good, yes, but you might want to consider other countries more in the western side of Europe, because there'd be more job opportunities, there'd be more probably international. You can immerse yourself in the culture of that place much more easy, because in Debrecen, English is such a language barrier. So like, there's a lot of limitations here and there.
Is it?
Yeah, but like how I got to this point, it first starts with your company. I had good company from the beginning, just a group of me and like my 4 other friends who were just committed to like study and finish on time, and we've been like this tight knit from the beginning until now, and we've been helping each other grow throughout the process, because if one person is good in this, the other person is good in
the other
another.
thing.
We build each other up. Yeah, and this has helped us greatly in, we're all graduating at the same time.
That's
Yeah, with
amazing.
a lot of students who we started with either dropped out, switched courses, switched unis, you know, like just a lot of things happened on the way because of, it's a tough course. It's a tough course.
Yeah, because I think I wanted to ask about this because I feel like there's this notion, or maybe it's just me and the people that I'm around,
yeah,
that, oh, you know, computer science is not that challenging.
Yeah.
You know, it's just 3 years. You know,
It's
you
not
just get
just
it done.
you.
But I feel like some people have had medical degrees doing computer
Yeah.
sciences. You know, so I feel like
Exactly.
it's pretty hard. I think
It's really
And
hard. Yeah.
it's underestimated a lot.
Exactly. Also, my
How
parents
demanding
at
it
first
is.
they were like, "What is computer science? Are you going to go be some tech guy who just fixes?" You know, in their head they were thinking you're someone who like fixes broken machines, like a technician
So what
or
do you
something.
do? Because I don't know. Because my baby brother actually just graduated software engineering.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but so I asked him, like, what does it mean? So he was like,
Oh.
oh, you just deal with the software, not the hardware. So like the
Yeah.
programming, what.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, okay, but if you're a computer engineer, like, do you just are those the ones that deal with the hardware? Like, how does it work?
So for computer science, okay, in the University of Debrecen, we have computer science and computer science engineers. For computer science, we mostly deal with software. Software is like where the brains behind how things work, how your phone works, how machines work, anything tech related. We're the ones who design it and code how it works. It's a lot of work because
I can imagine.
yeah, it's a lot of, because imagine creating something out of nothing. Imagine the process it took for the first person to make the first phone, make all those apps and make it work out of nothing. Like it's kind of like magic if you think about it. It is magic because you're making revolutionary things. You know, you're making the world easier for people, because if it wasn't for tech, for example during COVID, how would we have interacted with each other, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the world now feels like a village because of tech.
Yes.
Yeah, things are, the elevators, someone coded how it works. Yeah, someone coded how electricity works. Even electrical engineers, they have to learn some coding and all that. So now once you're in computer science, you understand how all these things work, how to do these things. So it's quite a task. Yeah.
So I mean, that probably means that like the job, let me not say opportunities per se, but like the types of jobs you can do.
Yeah.
It's endless.
It's endless. That's the thing. It's such a flexible field. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You can work literally in any industry.
Any industry.
Any industry. You can work in a bank, you can work in a restaurant, you can work in a school, you can work literally anywhere. But now the problem is language barrier might be an issue in some places. But things are moving so fast, you know, that now companies are becoming more diversified. It's easier to get a job probably in tech in non-English countries compared to maybe a job that requires one-on-one interaction.
Yeah.
For example, engineering, you can't talk with like the laborers if you don't speak the language, you know. But in tech, I can just be in my space,
sorting the stuff
tell me what
behind
you
the
need
scenes.
done. Exactly, just tell me what you need done. I can Google translate what you want, and I will go and do what I need to do and give you your product. So it's a very
flexible.
It's very flexible.
That's really nice, actually, because that's one of the questions I wanted to ask about what opportunities. Because I remember the last time we discussed, you actually did an internship.
Yes.
So, like, how did you access that internship? Let's say someone is doing computer science and they would also like to do an internship. They're from the University of Debrecen. You know, like, how did you go about it? Did you link the uni? I don't know.
I didn't get it through the uni. So I have a friend who works in city, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. Now this was my point of realization of how computer science is very flexible, because Citibank is a bank, as the name suggests. Yeah,
Okay.
and my friend just graduated from computer science engineering. And
Mhm.
most people who finish this tech courses, their goals are like, oh, I want to work with Google, Microsoft. Like they
Mhm.
want to work with tech companies, you know. So
Mhm.
even the tech people themselves don't know how flexible their field is.
Mhm.
So when I
Mhm.
saw my friend works at a bank, I was like, really, you work at a bank? What do you do over there? And I was like, oh, there's actually, the whole office is just a tech office.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's 2 offices in Budapest. One office is just for the tech people, and it's really big, and you're like, it's like 10 floors,
It's a
and
whole
you're
department.
like, yeah, it's like 10 floors. It feels like it's like 5 apartments mixed in one, and you're like, all these are just tech people for a bank, and you're like, this is
I
crazy.
mean, that makes sense. Think about it. Now we do most
Exactly.
of our banking on the phone, on
Online,
apps.
exactly. Yeah, and there has to be like cybersecurity engineers. This is also part of computer
You probably
science.
need more tech people than you need the tellers at this
That's
point.
true.
Yeah.
That's true, because everything now is shifting digital, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I discovered it through him, and I was like, at first I was intimidated before applying, because it's a big bank,
Of
and I was like,
course.
I'm just I just want an internship. I'm just a second year student. I don't
Mhm.
know much, yeah, but I'm just going to try ahead and see what are my chances, you know.
Mhm.
And I did it. I got in. It was a really amazing feeling, because only 6 people got in.
Oh wow.
So the selection process was like very rigorous, you know.
Mhm.
But like, you know, once you become confident in whatever you do, you know, you can, when you exude that confidence, the people hiring are like, okay, we can work with her, we can see what she can bring to the table and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I applied, got in, did my internship last summer from around July to September, no, June to September, and they called me back for a graduate program. So I'll join them again after I
Wow.
finish graduating, and hopefully this is the company where I'd want to grow.
From.
Exactly. So my advice to anyone applying for an internship is just go for it, you know. Just
Mhm.
go for it. Don't think about how big the company is, how small the company
Or how
is.
little you know. That's how you're
Exactly.
going to gain the
Because they'll
knowledge.
teach you everything that you need to know, you know, because
Mhm.
each company has its own way of handling its tech.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they'll teach you what they want you to know. So just go for it. Don't feel the imposter syndrome, that, because
Oh,
at first
girl, this
at
has
first,
a lot of us on a chokehold.
exactly.
It's me
Yeah,
guilty.
me too. I was like,
I'm the imposter
do I
syndrome.
really deserve to be here? Then once I got in, I was like, it's crazy how a lot of people here didn't even study computer science, you know.
Wow.
They were doing things like marketing or things, and then they just like made that shift later in their
Gained
career.
those skills because that's
Exactly.
where they
And they
wanted to
gained
go.
it in the company, you know. They didn't go like do a computer science degree. They gained it in the company, and I was like, that's amazing, you know. I can also grow as well. I shouldn't feel small and that I can't do it. I can do it, and I did it, and
Ooh,
I'll continue doing
you
it.
are
Amen.
preaching to me, because I think I really needed to hear this as
Yeah.
well. I mean, what you're saying actually, probably you know this company. I think it changed names now, but maybe you were still really young. Anyways, my mom used to work for this company called Africa Online.
Yeah.
So their headquarters was in Nairobi. So she
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
used to go
wow.
to Nairobi a lot
Yeah.
to work there, and she was the head of like sales and marketing. It was
Yeah.
a really big company. I think it's
Wow.
joined with, I don't remember the other company, if it's Vodacom, and
Maybe
they
Safaricom, maybe. I don't know.
amalgamated everything. It was
Yeah.
like an internet service provider
Oh, wow.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was really doing well, but my mom, she did like business,
Yeah.
marketing. That's what
Yeah.
she did. So, but she was leading these tech team, a tech
Exactly.
team, because basically it's a tech company, it's an internet service providing company.
Exactly.
So how can she manage somebody when she doesn't know? So she had to start acquiring those kind of skills on how
Yeah.
to do that, how to
And
please
she
the
learned on the
customer,
job.
you know, this
Yeah.
internet speed and whatnot. So she actually learned those you know, skills and everything like that. She also, I think she managed newspaper company,
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
you know, so many different things, but you
Yeah.
realize that you just need to get the skills adjust. But I think it's the
Exactly.
confidence that matters the most.
That's what matters.
That, you know, you're going to show up and you're going to learn the skills that are necessary, and if you can get those skills, then you're the person for the job.
Exactly. Yeah, you will do
And you
it.
don't get them from the air, you get them
Yeah.
from practice and
Because
whatnot.
we are our own biggest inhibitors when it comes to doing things. Yeah.
Wow. So you just came here to just tag me, add me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like I think I really needed to hear that actually,
Yeah.
because I think, yeah, imposter syndrome has me caught in a chokehold.
Exactly.
I literally watched, like, I think something on Instagram, and
Yeah.
this girl described it so beautifully. And she was talking about a picture of her baby brother who was in
Yeah.
like this big suit when he was 5 years, and she
Yeah.
was laughing about it.
Yeah.
And her mom or her parents, how our parents would be like, oh, you grow into it. And she was like, that's how imposter syndrome is like. It's like you have this big achievement that you feel that you can't, but she was
Wow.
like, but that's just how it's like the suit,
Exactly.
you grow into
You'll
it.
grow
And
into
I was
it.
like,
You'll take at
thank
your
you,
own
sis.
pace.
Thank you for letting me know that I'll grow into it.
Yeah, at
I
your
don't
own
have to feel
pace.
like because honestly, I'm just like, girl, this suit is too big for me, but
Yeah.
hopefully I'll
You'll
grow into it. I'll grow into it,
Grow into it. Yeah.
Wow. I think that academic advice was spot on. I think even other people can take this advice
That's
outside
true.
of the
Outside the computer field. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so Debrecen.
Good.
We are here.
Debrecen.
How has been your experience in Debrecen, like overly, in terms of like lifestyle, activity, and everything, especially for a person who came during COVID? Like, I feel like you guys had a different experience of what uni is compared to the rest of us. So I cannot imagine coming to uni during COVID.
During COVID, it was a crazy time because, you just come and you're isolated all of a sudden for a full year. So you just
new environment, new country.
Exactly. Yet you can't socialize, you can't move around, you can't do anything because of a pandemic. So it feels, it felt more like a cage kind of, yeah. But you had to find ways of coping. For example, meeting with some classmates who you probably met through the Zoom classes or something. This is how we met people.
Oh my gosh.
We met people through Zoom. You're like, okay, I think I like you and you probably like me, so let's be friends and meet in the house, because we can't go anywhere. We can't go to restaurants, we can't go to clubs. So we just met in houses, yeah. But at the same time, this was good because we built genuine friendships, because I think if we came out all at once, people would just be making friends with anybody. But COVID was made the community so tight knit that you were building genuine friendships,
intentional friendships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All friendships you made were intentional, because you
had to put your effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You really had to put effort. It wasn't just like a shallow hi bye. It was very intentional. We made conversations and then planned to meet in houses and study and all that. But another problem was since you got used to seeing these familiar faces, for 1 year straight, once you get out of the whole COVID scene and being introduced to the world afresh, it was crazy.
I can imagine.
Too much. It was overwhelming all at once, and we had to readjust once again. But I got to see a different kind of Debrecen, and what I love about it is that it's so multicultural. There's it's a student city.
Absolutely.
I've met people from countries I never thought how they would look like. They never came. What I met people from Kazakhstan. Never in my life did I know how people from Kazakhstan look like.
Me too. I was like, wait, there's some parts of the map you're just like, okay, these countries, is there even people there?
Exactly.
And I'm just like, it's a country, of course there are people there,
but I've never
but you don't
heard
even
of
know
anyone.
what are their features. And I think I realized that there's so many Asian countries that I don't know.
That's true.
Besides the typical
Korea,
China, Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah. And they're even bigger than some of these countries
stereotypes,
that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting.
It was
about
good. Yeah, it's so multicultural. Right. I've gotten to be friends with people from across all continents. Another thing I like about the city is that it feels so homely, because sometimes I used to go to Budapest, just to travel and visit and have fun. But then at the end of the day, I come back to Debrecen and I feel, I'm relaxed, I am home.
That's definitely...
Yeah, it's like a suburban vibe,
yes,
You come from the big city where it's crowded and busy, and then you go back home and you're peace
peace
and all that.
and
Yeah.
it's clean and it's
Fresh
quiet.
air. Actually, the
Yes.
fresh air. Oh my God.
Ah.
Budapest smells like piss everywhere. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. But at the same time, the advantages of Debrecen are also its disadvantages, you know?
Yes.
Because like since it's a small community, again, there's a lot of limitations in like the social setting as well.
Exactly.
So if you're someone who's into like bigger crowds, bigger cities, more things to do, more outdoor things to do, or indoor things to do as well,
it can be very limiting.
Exactly, it's very limiting in Debrecen.
But then this is what I would encourage. I think it's something that I wish I picked up earlier, like the confidence to travel, you know, because I think for me, that lack of confidence actually came from, I don't know if other people can relate, but I went to boarding school, right? So 9 months out of the year I was in school.
Yeah.
And only 3 months of the year I would be home. Obviously not
I relate.
consecutively, but like it was like 3 months. The term was 3 months and then 1 month holiday. 3 months, 1 month holiday. 3 months, 1 month holiday. And back home, I always did everything like with my family. Even if we went out to do stuff, it was with my family. So I feel like I was really sheltered. So I wasn't very streetwise.
Yeah.
So naturally, I didn't really have confidence to explore, you know what I mean? To just discover what's around me and go there by myself.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like the day scholar kids, like, they develop that
they used to go out.
Street wisdom. You know, they'll be like, oh, you know, we're going to run away. We're going to go this place.
Exactly.
Then they go, they try
we
these
didn't
things
have
out.
that opportunity.
So they have confidence to like try new things, go new places by themselves. So I think that was very hard for me to do because I'm just like, but like, so, you know, I don't know, I'll just worry so much about even just a simple trip to like Budapest or something like that. And then with time I was like, girl, you're a grown person. Like, you have to travel on your own. Like, who are you expecting to be expecting dad to drive you where you want to go? Or you need to have like a chaperone to go to Budapest or to go to Miskolc? No. So, but I love that. I think you guys generally, like, you're more outgoing and more confident to try new things.
You know, believe it or not, we actually live the same life. Cause
really?
I was also in boarding school 7 years of my life, you know. 9 months in school, 3 months at home. And at home, again, I'm also with my family. Anywhere I need to go, I'm taken by my parents, you know.
There you go.
So I think I know Hungary more than I know Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can move around in Debrecen and Budapest much easier than I can move around in Nairobi.
Actually, I think I would say the same thing for myself as well.
That's true. Like, I would get so lost in Nairobi.
I'm confident. Because when I went back home, I mean, like, I know how to get places and stuff. Because I think by the time I left home, I was driving quite a bit and whatnot. But the confidence to do it.
Exactly. I felt like a tourist when I went back home. I'm
exactly
like,
how I feel. Like,
you know,
I'm just like, nah, I don't feel like I
exactly.
can do this. I don't feel like I can be here. Oh my gosh, like, I start to just panic. But here, confidence. I'll be like, where do you want to go? We're going this. I'll plan the trip. And I'm not scared. You know, but maybe there's also the advantage.
You know, maybe how we can maybe get ourselves out of this mindset. Let's just go for a solo trip, you know. Yeah,
thank you.
I'm thinking if I go for a solo trip, I might, you know, gain that confidence, that streetwise confidence, and like be out of my comfort zone. Because now I'm too comfortable traveling in like with company. I need to like get uncomfortable and get out of that situation.
I totally agree with you because I remember, I think the first time I traveled, like to leave Debrecen and stuff like that, like I had company, you know, so it didn't really feel like, oh, you know, it wasn't nerve-wracking.
That's
and
true.
I felt like my company was a bit more traveled than me, so I was like, you know, just I don't even fully remember the process of everything we did because I feel like they just kind of took over and I was just like, you know, following
tagging
behind.
along.
But then I think for the past couple of years now, like I've been traveling actually on my own, of course, to meet other people and stuff like that, but like on my own,
so
you know, book my own flights, you know, get myself to the airports, you know.
Oh, airports are so stressful.
And get myself back, you know, even the simplest things like that. And then now I think in January for my birthday, I actually had like a little solo trip.
Oh wow,
I
yeah.
didn't tell you about this. Hey, we haven't
No.
seen in a while.
Yeah, we
then.
haven't met in quite a while.
When did
Yeah.
I do your hair?
You did it this year, but you didn't tell me about your solo trip.
Really? I
Yeah.
went to Greece.
Oh wow, that's like on my bucket list. That's really on my
I
bucket
went
list.
to Athens and I went and I saw the Acropolis and
Amazing.
everything by
Oh,
myself.
Was it during your layover?
Yes, I told you
okay.
exactly.
Yeah, you
exactly.
told
I
me.
had my
Yeah.
little solo moment thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
already traveled solo that trip because I went
Exactly.
to my brother's graduation,
Yeah.
and then when I was coming from there, then I went to Greece, and then from Greece I came back
Yeah.
to
So you already did the
to.
solo trip, and how did it feel?
It felt so good.
Yeah.
It felt so good.
It didn't feel
And I
like
feel like I
this.
feel really confident traveling in Europe. I don't know
Exactly.
why. I'm
Yeah.
just confident. Like I don't feel scared.
No.
Because I think I've built my confidence in an environment that I think I kind of know. I kind of know
Yeah.
how things work. Okay, there's trams, there's
Exactly.
buses, there's this.
And it's like a
you know,
similar structure in all these
exactly.
countries.
It's
Yeah.
very similar. So
it's
I'm
not
just
so
like,
strange when you travel.
yes.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of research before. Okay, if I'm what are the cheapest like modes of transport for me to get from point A to
Exactly.
point B? Then I
Yeah.
try to plan it and then budget it really really well.
Yeah.
Put a little extra money for this, extra money for that, and find. And it was really nice. Like I got a bus from the airport when I was
Yeah.
ready. Like I already found like there was a baggage storage spot at the
So
airport.
everything was
So stored my
sorted.
baggage there.
Yeah.
There was a bus like got
Right
onto the
there.
bus, went to
Exactly.
Athens. I used my Google Maps. I was by myself. I
Yeah.
made sure that there was at least a friend who would be like checking on me every now
Yeah.
and then.
Oh wow.
Like, okay, are you okay? How are you doing? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still a female. I think that's one thing I was really scared about.
That's another thing of being female. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, I was like really, really overthinking it. I was, first of all, I'm female. First of all, I'm not only female, I'm black.
Yeah.
So like, how is it going to be like for
And
me
these
to
things get in
travel
our heads, you know.
by myself,
Yeah.
like in Europe, you know?
Mm.
But I remember when I was coming from Malta.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Oh, you've traveled.
In
Yeah.
December. Not, I wish. I feel like I want to travel so much more. I feel like I
Yeah.
wasted so much time, you
But
know.
there's still time.
This exactly.
Yeah,
But
there's still time.
I would travel more. That I know for sure
Yeah.
because I love it,
Yeah.
and it's not as expensive as
Had imagined.
as
like,
I had
oof,
imagined. I think that
yeah.
was the
'Cause
thing.
there's options.
I was
Yeah.
coming from Malta, and the ride that what is it? The Leo that we got.
Yeah.
I was riding with this lady, Hungarian lady. She's a travel blogger,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh wow.
So we just start like making conversation because she
Yeah.
spoke English, the
Yeah.
driver didn't. So we started talking. I mean, I was sleeping for the most part. It's so crazy when we're now coming back to Deb. That's when we started
Yeah.
actually talking
Yeah.
and discussing, and girl, she gave me so much wisdom, and I'm
you're
just like,
why didn't I start talking to you earlier? Yeah.
she gave me so much wisdom. We actually followed each other.
Mm.
She's a travel like a blogger, and she actually goes to different countries she goes to places like Syria and all
Yeah.
these places that
Wow.
people probably are not keen on
Wouldn't.
going at the
Exactly.
moment because of what they see on the news,
Media.
and she's a woman.
Yeah.
And I talked about like my fear of traveling alone because
Yeah.
especially in Europe, because you know, like I'm black and I'll be a lady by myself, so I'm worried about safety, but also about like my race.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know, I understand how you feel, but I realized that like in life you go to places where there are no people like you.
That's true.
So even though I'm white, maybe, and sometimes maybe that's the race that, you know, we feel that they don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
When they do go to other places, they're a minority there.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think she brought that to my attention. I was like, she's absolutely right. And she was like,
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to be respectful about other people's cultures and engage in that way, and people will be receptive to you.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as like people are just going to be like for no reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true, because
that's like mind opening.
I'm so receptive to people from other
Yeah.
cultures, other races, and other colors, because I feel that they're here to experience my culture and they're respectful about it.
Yeah.
So if I'm the same way, why won't they receive me? Why won't people help
Exactly.
me out?
Yeah.
Why won't people, you know? And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. If I need help, I'll be kind.
That's the
I'll try to
mindset.
learn a few words to say hi. I'll try to learn
Yeah.
how to be polite
Yeah.
and be patient, and you'll be fine.
And also have a good time while doing it.
Absolutely. When
Yeah.
Greece was really nice. I went to the Acropolis. I walked. I hate walking, but
Yeah,
like,
but for this you did.
of course, I walked, and I walked all the way up, and I saw
Wow.
the view. It
Yeah.
was so beautiful.
Oh, I can imagine.
And the history, you know, the
Yeah.
fact that they've managed to keep these structures intact.
Throughout this years,
Because I think there's so many, like, the archaeologists and the people, they actually use different materials to preserve the structures and stuff, and to see that, like, they're working so hard to preserve these things that otherwise weather and
would have
everything
just
would have
eroded it away.
I'm telling you, and I'm just like, man, like, I hope, like, we value our history like this, that we keep putting effort into keeping it. And I feel like as human beings, God gave us some incredible abilities, because some of the
like,
things that we
things
achieve,
we come up with,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's okay. Sometimes I look at things and I'm like, how did the person think of making this, you know?
Thank you.
What brought you to make this? You know, it's either a genius or you're crazy. But, you know, there's a
Both.
thin line between exactly being genius and being crazy.
I think they probably even go hand in hand, and you know, the details and all this, like
wow,
designs. And I was
mind.
like, them people back then, they were doing all this. It's really interesting.
And we're here enjoying life thanks to all these things that humans have made. Yeah.
And that hopefully we will also bring, you know, we'll leave our little mark there.
Exactly, yeah.
And our little value there. Like, I think, traveling is one thing I would definitely encourage people to do in Debrecen. And even if maybe you can't afford to travel, like, let's say, leave the country, because obviously you have to think about accommodation and things like that. I mean, traveling to countries where maybe you probably have friends can make the trip much cheaper for you, because then maybe your accommodation won't be expensive. I think that's the biggest expense most of the times when you're traveling.
My advice when it comes to traveling in Europe is that in Europe, most countries have almost the same thing, you know, similar architecture, culture, and all things. So if you're traveling within Europe, travel for experiences. This way you'll get the most out of whatever country you go to, you know, because despite things being almost similar, once you start traveling with the idea of I'm here to experience something new, you will have the best time of your life, you know. You will gain new insight and see new things that probably a lot of tourists had overlooked because they just came to see the typical things. Maybe they just went to the Eiffel Tower, that's it, and then went back home. But you went, saw the Eiffel Tower, yes, but also experienced Paris or whichever place you'll go to through the eyes of probably like a local person, you know. And this way you get to have an amazing time of your life. You get to learn new things as well as enjoy the place as well.
Because I think I'm a sucker for sightseeing and things like that. So I think this is really good advice for me to also still open my mind outside of the sites or the popular places. You know, to open up my I went to like some local place, and I actually realized, you know, and I was like, okay, you know, we're in Greece, let's have some gyrosh, and it wasn't all that that I was thinking it was good.
You know, will be disappointed a lot.
So you actually realize that, oh, you know what, like this could be the thing about this country, but it might not be something that would be that banging for you,
mind blowing for
you. It might just be like and then you maybe you go and have pizza in Italy and you're just like whatever.
Exactly. Then you go back home disappointed because the only thing you did in Italy was try pizza.
Oh my gosh, I remember when I really love like pastries, like pies and stuff like that. So I think the only spot in Debrecen where they have pies is like it's I'm forgetting this place, and I always
but we will definitely look it up after.
Wellington, exactly. Wellington Coffee and Pie. So I think it's the like best pie here in Debrecen, honestly, that I've had. Like at least that kind of pie. I mean, I feel like they used to make it better in the beginning when they opened, or maybe we just got used to. I've just gotten used to it now. But so, like when I went to Malta, pastries are a thing for them. You know, they have these little pastries that they even saw on the street and stuff. So I was like,
it's known for.
I was like, now I'm going to ball out pastry here, pastry there, and then it was just like.
It was mid. You're just like, this,
I was like, why?
This is it.
And it was so cheap too. So I was like, okay, now we're gonna. And I was like,
load.
Why am I doing this to myself? It's not even that great. It's okay.
It's
you know
okay.
what I mean? Like, trying new things as well.
Exactly.
You know, get out of your comfort zone a little
Yeah.
bit. I feel like even in Hungary, like there's so many beautiful places that
That's
I'm
the
even still
thing.
yet to see. Like,
Yeah.
travel, guys, travel to
Because we
different
tend to think,
places.
okay, we need to go outside, but have we traveled Hungary?
Thank you.
No, yet there's so many beautiful
That are
places
accessible
over here.
as well. Like, they're
Exactly.
cheap, the students discounts everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you travel even 1 hour, you know, what's it called? Is
You
it
can,
high
yeah,
Boslo is like 15 minutes
exactly.
away.
And you get a
Couple of
different experience
foreigns,
from these places.
completely
Wine
different
country,
experience.
okay. You want
Yeah.
some scenery, Miskolc, you
And you
want
know these what for example, I think the Haiduso Boslo,
mm,
the big water park is
yeah,
one of the big water parks in Europe
that's the
even.
thing.
And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Paris. You know, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah, you want to go see the Eiffel Tower. Okay, you saw it then.
Exactly, but you're in Hungary and you've never seen like one of the
Yeah,
biggest, you know, water uh, parks or natural thermal
where you
centers
can
that they
actually
have.
enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's not
things that are
just
accessible
seeing,
to you for
and you
cheaper
immerse
even.
yourself in the experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember I went to this one they call it um I went to Hortobaju
Yeah.
Charda.
Oh
So
wow.
Charda is like the traditional kind of restaurant,
Yeah.
not the typical one, you know,
Yeah.
like, and oh my gosh, like
It was good.
it was a good experience. Like,
Wow.
I don't think I ate some groundbreaking food or
No.
anything like that,
Yeah.
but it was a good experience because it was almost kind of like it was a little mini museum as well.
Exactly.
So inside the spot they have
Yeah.
like all these like cloaks because Hortobaj is like cattle
Oh
rearing
wow.
type of
Now I want to go to this
country.
place. Yeah.
And it's very small. I think
Yeah.
it's 1 hour from Debrecen.
Oh wow. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very small. So like that little town center place, that's where the
Yeah.
restaurant is because it's on the road kind of thing,
Exactly.
off the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
And they have like, you know, the souvenir market close by as well. And you can buy
Wow.
some souvenirs and
You see,
whatnot.
you remember this place because it was of the experience you had.
And
That's
exactly.
what made it memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can go on like some boat rides on the Hortobaj
Wow. Yeah.
River as well. It was really nice, and
Okay, I need to do that now that the weather is getting warm.
it was really nice, and
Yeah.
um learning about Hungarian culture, because
Yeah.
I think it was a very big misconception that I had. I
Mm.
think because I think typically because of Western media, you know how we're always like, oh, you know, Black people, we have so much culture, we have so much culture.
Exactly.
Naturally,
You
you
tend to
know,
think
you
other
become
people don't
ignorant.
have.
Yes,
Yeah.
you tend to think that other people don't have culture.
Mm.
Or I was just like, you know, people are always like, Black people have so much culture. You just think, so that means that white people don't have much culture.
That's the
Are we
thing.
crazy?
Culture is like a way of life, and
Yes,
everyone
whatever it
definitely has
is
a
a
way of
culture.
life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, for us to even say something
Yeah.
as ignorant as certain people don't have a
Exactly.
culture.
Yeah.
Like, a culture is your way of
This is why
life.
traveling opens your mind.
Opens my mind. I
Yeah.
was like, and it's so rich. Like, they have their
Exactly.
things that they value just like we do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we have, you know, the clay pots and
Yeah.
whatnot. They have their
They
stuff.
have
Like,
theirs.
they
They
have
have their
the
traditions as well.
kiln,
Yeah.
traditional like
Their folk
fireplace that they have.
songs and
They had
dances. Yeah.
some sheep coats that
Wow.
was on display. They have some
Yeah.
stuffs to herd the cattle.
And who would have thought?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that they rear cattle in this country like that.
And
Like
apparently
big
it's
ones.
famous. Like it's
Yes,
famous.
I
Yeah.
had no idea. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, yeah, Africa is the home for everything. No,
Yeah.
I promise you. Before I came to Europe, I even used to think that
Mm.
they don't have like nice greenery like we have back home.
True. Yeah. I
That's
was
what I
like,
used to think. I used
I'm
to
going
think
to a
everything is
concrete
like,
jungle.
yes,
Yeah.
skyscrapers, concrete, and what.
Exactly.
This is why we're coming to Africa to see some grass and flowers.
Yeah, and I'm like, is it that bad over there?
And I'm like, it's beautiful here.
It's beautiful.
You know,
Yeah.
I can't even be mad. Like, it's so beautiful. The country
Yeah.
is beautiful. The sunflowers, the
And it's
corn
so
on the
walkable
roads.
as well.
Ah,
Yeah.
God, I'm like,
You can enjoy a nice walk and walk for hours and
I was
hours.
like, I was so close-minded, so
Yeah.
so ignorant.
Mm.
I've seen some really, really like rich culture
That's the
traveling in
thing.
Europe.
Yeah.
Like there's so many traditional things, even like, for example, some of the festivals that they have here during the summer and everything. You see the richness
see
in the
their
culture,
culture,
you know, the
exactly.
dress and the music
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I'm like,
The food as well. Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the Christmas market, you know, the mulled wine
Exactly.
situation and all
Yeah.
these are things to experience. So I feel like if you want to open your mind, I think studying abroad is a good way
It's
to
a
do
good
it.
way to do
It's
it.
a really good way to do
Definitely
it.
a good way to do
You will
it.
never ever be the same.
No.
You will never ever be the
Because it
same.
also challenges the ideas that you already had.
Yes.
You know, you now have new ideas instilled in you, like, oh wow, it's not just like this. It can also be like this and like this.
And I think you can make more informed decisions about life.
That's true.
So, for example, you know, like I can imagine for somebody, let's say, who has never left Zimbabwe, where I'm from, and they feel like they never want to leave Zimbabwe. They want to die here, and I understand that feeling, but I feel like you can never truly settle in that feeling with it, and it's an informed decision if you've
That's
never
true.
gone elsewhere
No.
and seen other things.
Because this is all you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is all you know.
So
So
you're
of course
comfortable.
you're comfortable in
Yeah.
it. But the moment you open up your mind and maybe you experience certain comforts and discomforts,
Exactly.
your mind might very easily be changed.
Yeah.
I feel like there are many reasons I would love to, let's say, go back home and live home. And most of them are to do with maybe my attachment.
Yeah.
That's my home where my
Yeah.
family is,
Exactly.
my
This is where you
extended
grew
family.
up. Yeah.
I grew up there. So I think there are more sentimental attachments.
Yeah.
But as far as convenience, I'm like,
do I really want to?
yeah.
Not now. Yeah.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for me, like, and sometimes, you know, it feels bad for you to say that, oh no, but for me it's like a convenience thing.
Exactly.
So there's certain struggles that personally for me, I'm just like, if I'm not willing to have these kind of struggles,
Yeah.
you know. So for example, at least in my country, like for you to, okay, let me speak for things that affect everyone, whether you are like upper class or lower class.
Yeah.
Public transportation. The way it's so integrated and accessible and affordable in Europe is unmatched.
Yeah.
It's unmatched. You know, like as an
Yeah.
average person working, let's say, an average job, to be able
Yeah.
to go from point A to point B without investing exorbitant amounts of money, if you don't have a car,
And
I
wasting
think that's such a
time.
good thing.
Yeah.
That's such a good thing. And so for me, I think about, if I want to have this level of comfort back home, I need to be making way more, because I need to be mobile. I'll need to have a car that I have to put fuel in.
Yeah.
You know, that's even more money.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to buy a whole car. But here, I can
Here-
buy a tram pass.
Exactly. And actually, both the rich, not so rich, like all classes in Europe, use the public transport, you know,
Yes.
because it's very accessible.
Convenient.
Exactly.
It's so convenient.
Yeah.
And you use your car maybe for long distance traveling and things
you
like
could-
that, you know. So I think these are the things I wish for my country. And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, but why don't you stay there and bring it's like, but sometimes you never know how far behind you are unless you go and see something that's ahead of you. So I think that's how I see it. Like, if I never came to Europe, I don't think I would have ever appreciated how far behind, you know, my country is with some of the simplest things. And then it was also impressive when I went back home and I saw some of these things that, like, I'd never seen, like some tech I'd never seen. Even here in Europe, I was like, whoa, guys, like.
Exactly. But I think also,
Yeah.
like, studying abroad also gives you like a new sense of appreciation for home as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the winters, you know. Once I went back home, you know, it was during winter over here, and I went back home and I was like, oh, the sun, finally, you know.
For
You
me,
get to
it's the
appreciate.
opposite.
Yeah.
It's like I when I went home,
Yeah.
I said, I'm leaving this heat.
Oh.
The heat here is unbearable for
Yeah.
me.
Oh wow, no way.
That
I
July
loved-
heat
Yeah.
in Europe, I confess, like,
Exactly.
thank you. Please
Yeah.
and thank you, bye.
It's so hot. The
It's too
summers here
hot.
are too hot, and they think Africa is hot.
I thought so too. I was like,
yeah, and no, it's much hotter over here. Much hotter. I mean,
you know, when I
depends where
came
you
to
live
Debrecen in
Africa.
August, and you're going to Europe.
Yeah.
Girl, I had this
Oof.
big jacket with me.
Yeah.
It was hot.
It was hot as hell, you came in the middle of summer.
It was so hot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. Like I'd never experienced that kind of heat in my life.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I think the time that I left Zimbabwe, probably, I think that year or like a couple of years after that,
Yeah.
that's when the country started experiencing these like heat waves and stuff. So
Yeah.
probably other people can testify otherwise that
Yeah.
it gets really hot and stuff. But
Exactly,
I never
yeah.
experienced the level of heat that I experienced
No,
here.
yeah.
Or it's a different kind of heat. I feel like it's a direct,
Yeah.
hot heat.
Exactly.
It's just like, I feel like my skin literally feels like it's burning. And
Yeah.
I never felt that way when I was
Yeah.
home, even if it was really hot. So maybe the humidity levels or
That's
something
true, yeah.
that my
And
skin was
I found
adjusted
like a
to.
newfound sense of appreciation when I went back home after staying here for 2 years,
Mhm.
because I looked at things through a different set of eyes,
Yeah.
like from a different point of view. And I was like, it was always this beautiful, like it was always this lively, it was always this vibrant, because like,
Mhm.
of course, here, like for example, in the public transport, it's always quiet,
Mhm.
everyone minding
Mhm.
their own business.
Yeah.
Then I go to Nairobi, and we have these things called matatus, yeah?
Mhm.
And the matatu culture is amazing. The graffiti on the public transport, the music in the buses, and
Oh
all
my
that.
God.
It's like a party bus, when you're moving. And I was like, oh, Nairobi, this is like such a vibrant city. I had missed you so much,
Now I want to go.
You should.
I'm going to come to
You
Nairobi.
definitely should. Yeah. And I'll come to Zimbabwe.
Yes, you come
Yeah.
to Harare.
Because
I
we
think
are
I'm
traveling.
so out of touch. Like I
Yeah.
don't even think I would know what to show
Expect.
you.
Yeah,
Or
no,
if
it's
anything,
okay.
I'll be touring with you at this point.
I'll also be touring with you.
At this point.
So we'll be having a new experiences together.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're right. Like I
Yeah.
think some of the things that I really appreciate about home that's so different is that sense of belonging and community.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember one of the things that I'd really missed. I think I stayed here for so long without going home that
You got
I
used to
adjusted
being
so much, and I got
Yeah.
used to being
a minority, maybe. Yeah.
one, and I got used to life being the way it is, constantly surrounded by other young people.
Yeah.
Like even to see people who are just slightly older is odd to me because I
Yeah.
was not used to it. I'm
'Cause
used
it's
to
a
seeing
student city.
young
Yeah.
people around me all the time, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, there are people in their 40s in the world.
Old people exist. Wow.
Not even old. They're 40-year-olds in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was interesting, but I think I really appreciated the culture that we have back home. Like when I went home, we were visiting like different family members.
Yeah.
And before I left, they would pray over me,
Exactly.
They would pray over my life.
Yeah.
Like every single way, like that culture, at least
Yeah.
for people who come from that Christian kind of background and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I miss this
I lost
so
that
much.
touch, when I came here.
Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
miss this. And I said, this is a different. I hope people who are back home appreciate that
but
level of
how can they
blessing
appreciate it?
constantly in your
Yeah,
life,
yeah.
man. Like you just go to visit your aunt and she'll be like, before you guys go, then she'll just pray for you. Pray
Exactly.
over your life, pray over
Yeah.
your endeavors, And it's like it's so you're constantly around it that it doesn't even register that there are all
Exactly.
these people interceding for you for
Who
your
wish
life.
you nothing but the best.
Wow.
Yeah, because here I think
It
it's
was
more of
overwhelming
an
for me.
individual lifestyle. Everyone
Yes.
looks out for themselves. At
Yes.
home, it's more of a community lifestyle,
Yeah.
You're a child of everyone.
Yes,
Yeah, and
exactly. Even my mom is someone else's child. Like,
exactly.
It's, it's so beautiful, and
It's
I really
beautiful.
miss that.
Yeah.
And bruh, my country is beautiful. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
I need
and
to
I miss,
visit.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I went to some places I've been to before, but it felt like I was going there for the first time because the experience was completely different. I don't know if it's because I'm older or I just have a different kind of appreciation for it.
Yeah.
But it felt so different.
Exactly.
I remember we traveled all the way to Kumusha. Kumusha is like, the village kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. we traveled there because I had to see my grandfather's grave, because
Yeah.
unfortunately my grandfather passed,
Oh,
during this like
RIP.
COVID time
Yeah.
and everything. So we traveled to go to Mutare. That's
Mm.
where my parents like come from, and
Yeah.
they grew up there, and then they moved to Harare, and then they
Yeah.
started their family, whatever. So we went there to the farm and and just seeing like a different lifestyle. Seeing Mutare is the most beautiful place.
Yeah. I
And
can
if
imagine the
I come back
greenery, the
to
fresh
live back
air.
in Zimbabwe, I want to live
Yeah.
there because it's
Oh,
like
wow.
the Eastern Highlands, so there's
Oh,
mountains.
wow. Yeah.
It's breathtaking.
Beautiful.
It's
Exactly.
beautiful.
I can
And I was
imagine.
just like, it's so nice, fresh
And
air.
people live here every day, but they don't understand. Yeah, until they move out, then they'll have the sense of appreciation. Like,
Yeah,
you had a gem all this time.
I'm telling you. And I'm just like, for me, I want to live comfortable,
Mm.
like, and have access to the things I have access to here.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
But I know that like I will be living a different kind of lifestyle, or I'll
Mm.
have to be a certain class for me to be able to live
Yeah.
comfortably back home.
Yeah.
So
So you
I
make a
need
choice
I need to
now.
work
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
If I want to live back home and
Yeah.
have the kind of lifestyle I want to have.
Mhm.
So I definitely imagine it. Like,
Yeah.
would I want to live back in Zimbabwe? Absolutely.
Mhm.
When I make it for me to have a comfortable life, for sure.
Exactly. So now we
Yeah,
grind,
and
grind.
I'll go and live in Mutare.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I'm not a city girl. It's crazy because I was born and raised in Harare,
Yeah.
but
Now you're like,
I
the
always
simple
imagine
things. Yeah.
living, like you said, like this, Debrecen kind of
yeah.
life. So like you called it like suburbia,
Yeah.
suburban life, or
Yeah.
suburbia type of life,
Mm.
whatever. But like this like quiet vibe,
Yeah.
lots of scenery and land. I think that's what I
It feels more
want.
natural,
Yes.
not so man-made.
That's what I appreciate also about
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's probably in Eastern Africa. Do you guys build like double-storied houses as well, like
Yeah.
Nigerians, or you have a more like a homestead type of situation?
Double-story houses.
Really?
Yeah.
I think for us, I think mostly in Southern Africa, like
Yeah.
for the people who build double stories, those people who build like the big houses
Mm.
but even then, still there's also like land
Yeah.
around it, and like
Yeah.
there's always like homestead situation
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I think we build like the regular
Yeah.
bungalows,
Yeah.
and then there's the
Like different family
you have like your
members.
no.
Ah.
Oh, maybe the way I said homestead, maybe that's what made it sound that way.
Because when you
But
said homestead, I thought like
yeah,
you live
like
with
a
like your different family
communal.
members.
No.
Yeah.
Like you have like your place, and then you
Oh,
have
no,
like
no,
a
we
drill
have
around, and then
yeah.
I don't know, garden
We
with
have
grass.
gardens now,
For
not
the people
like
who can
Nigeria,
afford it, a
'cause
pool. Yeah,
I've seen in Nigerian houses, it's like mostly cemented, or
it's
like
mostly the
it's
house.
stone, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no, ours
not
is very green. Yeah,
yeah.
we
So
have
yeah, because I feel like you guys,
yeah.
we have a very similar kind of
Yeah. I thought you
lifestyle
meant
and
like
culture.
communal living, and I was like,
No.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
No,
But
not
like
like
with
that.
the
Maybe in the villages though, but
yeah,
no.
but it's like houses with like a backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
People love a backyard. Whether it doesn't matter what social class you're in, everyone wants a backyard where
I think depending on
kids
your
will
class, maybe
play.
you have a pool in the backyard.
Exactly.
And things
Yeah.
like that. But like, for most people, it's like a little garden. They plant their
Exactly.
kale, their
Yeah.
vegetables, whatever, and
Mhm.
you have you have to have a mango tree.
Yeah, avocado tree as well. We
Avocados.
love avocados in Kenya.
Peaches and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think for us is the mangoes.
Yeah.
Every house.
Yeah.
Some few avocado, but mango is the
Mango.
staple.
Yeah.
Mangoes and things like that. It's home is something.
Home is
Home is
something.
something. And the food,
Of course.
like the flavor. Like I had pork at home. I had beef at home. I had bacon.
You had all these selections.
I had bacon at
Yeah.
home, and I was like, it's been a while since I've had bacon.
Exactly.
That's how it felt, and I eat bacon all the time here.
Yeah.
You eat you fry the bacon, and it's like one strip, half the strip is left.
It's gone. Yeah.
But
where'd the rest go? Yeah.
Bacon from home. It's bacon.
Yeah.
The beef is beefing.
It's
like,
beef. It smells
but maybe
good.
it's
juicy.
the taste as well.
Yeah.
Maybe our taste is different.
Maybe. Or maybe
Do you
our
think
cows eat more natural things, maybe.
There you go. So I think I'll give it that, because
Yeah.
The food was just hitting me left, right, and center. I said,
Yeah, you just like
the
it was this
fruits.
good. Even the fruits. My mom, she always cuts fruits for us every day. And I remember when I was younger, she used to like kind of force us to eat fruit. She's like, guys, eat fruits. They've been here the whole day. They're getting like overripe and something. And then I came here, yeah. And then I remember, my mom used to cut for me fruits every day, yeah.
Girl.
I went back home. I ate those fruits like nonsense, I was telling my sisters, guys, you don't know what you have over here.
Thank you. I remember when I went home and in the morning, like my mom would make this big breakfast. And I'm like, sis, I just eat my oats, have a banana,
and done.
I'm out. But it was so nice to just have. Honestly, I was like, when I go home, I'm gonna cook for my mom and whatnot. I did not cook once.
I also kept saying this. I was like, no.
I didn't cook once, and I won't even lie. I didn't want to.
No.
My mom would just cook, she'd just make all these meals.
Yeah.
And I on the TMI podcast, there's this podcast, guys, that she introduced me to. I recommended for
100%.
everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, especially you young ladies out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely watch it. It's a Kenyan podcast, the TMI podcast, The Messy in Between. And one of the host was talking about how, like, when they go home, like, mom just cooks for them and they feel like a child again and everything.
Exactly.
And I started to understand that, like,
yeah,
because I think I was thinking, I'm an adult now, like, so now it's my turn to no, it's not my turn to parent my parents.
Always be a child.
I'll always be a child, and
My
I'll
mom
happily
always
sit
tells
in
me
that
this.
place.
I'll always be a child to her. Yeah.
Yeah, but the part where you now start to police me like a child is
yeah.
That's the part where I'm like, that's my cue to leave.
Exactly.
Yes.
But guys still study abroad. Yeah, we're saying like home is good, of course,
and
always.
home is home.
Home
you
is
always
home
go
at
back.
the end
You
of
can
the
always
day,
go
but
back
like
home.
they shouldn't discourage you to like study abroad as
Yes,
well.
yes, and I think these for some people, and for in fact for a lot of people, these are once in a lifetime opportunities.
Exactly.
So if you have the opportunity to study abroad, absolutely take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely take it. Ooh, our time. It was so lovely having you, Michelle.
It was lovely having you as well.
We'll invite you back for some
yes,
updates.
Please.
And,
yeah, we need to do
chill
a round
out.
two. There's still more left unsaid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so
coming
much,
over to the
Tendi.
podcast,
Yeah.
and I'm wishing you the very best
I
in
wish you the
your
best as
endeavors. I think you're a really, really lovely girl, and I'm
thank
so
you,
glad that I
Tendi.
met you.
Me too,
And I
Tendi.
hope that more young people like develop the same mindset that you have, and they stay driven. And you keep going, you reach more heights. I'm wishing you all the best.
There's
So
no limits. Exactly.
Beyond the sky is the limit.
Beyond the sky, for sure.
So with that, guys, we would just like to say a goodbye, and life is but a journey, so bon voyage.
Bon voyage.